Hello, once again, Kenny Jacobs from Bloomington, Illinois. I'm a PGA teaching professional. My videos talk both about the great game of golf, as well as being a Christian and living in the last days. Yesterday I went up to Chicago and volunteered to teach at the PGA Golf Show, the Chicago Golf Show. And I gave 4 hours of quick 10-minute lessons to all different ages, all different skill levels. And every single one of them gripped the golf club way too tight. When I was working with them and I would grab a hold of the club and move their club, I felt so much resistance in their arms because of that grip pressure. Too tight of a grip is one of the biggest problems that everybody faces with their golf swing. Once you grip the club too tight, you can't freely hinge the club and create leverage and cock your wrists. And it's hard to turn your shoulders because the tension that runs through your hands runs up into your arms, into your shoulders, so it's very difficult to even make a good turn with your body. And people fight their balance because all that tension in their arms slows their arms down and prevents the wrist cock. So then they have to try to overturn their body on the downswing to compensate and create power, and that throws their swing off plane and throws their body off balance, so you get a lot of mishits. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being gripping the golf club, as tight as you can grip it, you really only want to hold the club at about 3 or 4. You want to hold it firm enough that you're controlling the club and it's not going to twist or slip. But that's it. Any tighter than that is actually a detriment. You should be able to easily move your wrists and elbows and arms, and you should be able to feel the club head, and should feel very soft and relaxed with your arms. It's such a prevalent problem, and when you get out there this spring and start playing and hitting some golf balls, really focus on keeping soft tension in your wrists, forearms, elbows, arms. Don't grip the club too tight. If you soften that grip pressure, you'll create more club head speed, and it'll be a lot easier to score up the club face and hit it more solid and actually hit it straight. So softer grip pressure should definitely help you. Alright, I also want to talk a little bit today about a couple of other recent developments. One with our military, and two with the potential threat to the United States that could cripple us. Saw this morning a news report that says that the U.S. military is being cut drastically. In fact, our Army is going to be dropped down to 440,000 troops. That our levels of our military are actually being reduced all the way down to pre-World War II levels. Now that's a pretty scary situation, pretty scary thought when you realize all the unrest that's going on all around the world and how potential wars that could break out at any minute in the Middle East, with what's going on with Syria, with what's going on with Iran, and how all the Arab nations want to wipe Israel off the map. It's also kind of scary because the Bible says that the kings of the East, which is the Asian armies from China, and I would think North Korea would be included in this, has a 200 million man army that's going to march in to Israel at the Battle of Armageddon. While we see Russia and China and North Korea and Iran building up their military and preparing for battle, we're reducing ours. So I gotta wonder what's going to happen when Israel is finally attacked, and we know they're going to be. Will America be there for them? Will we help them? Not so sure we will. Will we even be able to? Will we even be a factor? For the one world government to rise, which is definitely going to happen, for the New World Order to take over, the U.S. must be taken out. The U.S., the last superpower on earth at the moment, and a nation that would not stand for a one world government, its people won't, its citizens won't, needs to be reduced so that the New World Order can take over. And we have a president who has said more than once that he wants to fundamentally change America. And I believe he's doing that right now, to a point where America is being weakened so much that it will not be able to fight and defend itself, and has opened itself up to attack that could definitely destroy us, therefore making it much easier for the Antichrist to rise and the One World Order to start. So there's a threat to our power grid. I've been hearing a lot about this lately, about a threat to the power grid. In fact, last couple of years there's been a TV show called Revolution. It was about what would happen if we had no power anymore, if the power grid was taken out. About 10 months ago, there was an assault on 17 transformers in San Jose, California that affected the Silicon Valley. Some snipers shot out 17 transformers. It took them 20 minutes with AK-47s. And they caused a lot of damage. Didn't completely destroy the transformers, or it would have been really bad. But it shows you how even just our little power stations are very susceptible to attack. But the big issue is an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. If an EMP was detonated a couple hundred miles in the air over the United States from a nuclear weapon, it would actually knock out all of our power and all of our critical infrastructure, basically setting us back to the 1800s. Some government studies have shown that if we were to be without power for a year, 9 out of 10 Americans would die. 90% of Americans would die. A couple of months ago, a North Korea vessel was flagged in Panama, and we discovered 2 nuclear missiles hidden on that boat. The missiles were apparently hidden under bags of sugar, and they were already on their launchers. If those were launched as a nuclear device, an EMP, that's all it would take. We now have Iran close to a nuclear weapon. Now we've got to watch what's going on over with Russia, with the situation with the Ukraine. And then we know we got that psycho Kim Jong-un in North Korea and his aspirations of attacking America. Again, I maintain it's not a matter of if, it's when. Our grid has actually already been compromised some through cyber attacks. And there's evidence that they left behind software that could compromise our grids. And then another one that could happen is simply a solar flare. Apparently, major intense solar flares hit the Earth about every 150 years. And the last one occurred in 1859, which is 155 years ago. So we're very due. And recently there's been a lot of CMEs, a lot of solar flares, a lot of sunspots, increased activity on the sun. And if we're going to continue to turn our back on Israel, the combination of that and the moral decline of America, and the judgment that may come from God for that, very simple. A solar flare could knock out our power grid, reduce America to nothing. And then the New World Order could start. We're living in very dangerous times, but if you're a Christian and you've been saved, they're very exciting times. I know I seem to be the bearer of bad news with a lot of these videos, but to the Christian, it just means we're going home soon. We know that in the long run, we win. The good guys win. If you read the back of the Bible, it all ends good. But it does not if you're not ready. Dangerous days we live in. Time to quit messing around. All the signs are here. Make sure you're ready. If you haven't already, give your heart to Jesus. And get prepared. It's coming back soon.